Good morning, my friends, and God's blessings to you. Today we have a 6-minute message. This is our 5th in this series. They were called at one time 5-minute messages, but I could not keep them within that 5-minute range, so they are now 6-minute messages. And this message, our 5th in the series, is connected to where we've been. Where we have been has centered on what is our purpose biblically in life. Today, our focal point is where should our heart be in order for us to live a life that's aligned with the purpose the Lord has set for us. And that purpose is to love the Lord by loving others. It's to live for others, to live for the Lord. It is to center our thoughts on the things of God. It is to grow in our sanctification in our worship. It is to live a life to be a vessel of blessing unto others and giving glory and honor to our Lord. So in all this, where should our heart be? Here's another way of framing the question. If the purpose of life for us is to love the Lord by loving and serving others, then what are some heart attitudes that we should have in order to love and serve in this way? In other words, how should our heart be aligned in order for us to live as we ought? Here is for your consideration the first heart attribute that I would like to bring to our attention, and it is the concept of contentment. Right? For your consideration, contentment. In order to live out our purpose, we are to be God and other-centered. And my friends, here's the reality. If we're discontented, if we have a discontented spirit, then we're going to be centered on ourselves. And a spirit, a heart that is centered on self and our own circumstances is not a heart prepared to serve. That's the point. If we are in fact struggling with being content in our life, if we are dwelling on our circumstances, we find ourselves disillusioned, we find ourselves angered or frustrated, we're not content with where we are, then in and through all of that, we are centered on self and not God and others. And the degree to which we are discontent is the degree to which we live outside the purpose that we're called to live. Philippians 4:11 and 12 puts it this way. And this is Paul, a sinner just like you and I. He says this, "For I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low. I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need." What Paul is saying is that the grace of God was so rich upon his heart, God's grace so implanted in him that it did not matter what his external circumstances were. He was at peace, he was content, and he was joyous. He said it did not matter if he was hungry or in difficulty or in trial or in persecution, or whether he was flourishing as the way the world measures it. The whole point is this man, Paul, was very, very content. Not because Paul possessed something that you and I don't in and of himself. Rather, it's because the grace of God was so rich upon Paul. So now we can center back and connect the dots from where we were to where we are now. Our purpose in life is to spread the love of the Lord into the world, one relationship at a time. It is to be a vessel of blessing, to be used of the Lord, to encourage, serve, and in every way bless and bring about joy and a God-centered mindset into the lives of those who are around us, which is to say, we are to live for God and others, which means we cannot center on self. And so if we're centered on self, if we're discontent, our heart is not prepared to live as we ought. In fact, we have yet another verse that I think adds yet another element. It is 1 Timothy 6:6, and it says, "For godliness with contentment is great gain." Contentment is great gain for you and I. to say, Lord, equip me, move me to live above and beyond my circumstances. Lord, don't allow me to dwell on things I cannot control. Don't allow me to dwell on things that bring me down. In fact, Lord, move me with the grace you gave unto Paul, so that I can live above my circumstances and find contentment in everything, so that I can set my own agenda aside and say, you know, the Lord is taking care of me. I'm great. I now am prepared to look out at others and love them with the love the Lord has given us. Godliness with contentment is great gain for us, and it's great gain for everyone who is around us. When you are contented and your heart is prepared to serve and focus in on others, your spouse benefits, your children benefit, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, whoever it is that you're in interaction with. So the focal point for this day is to say, Lord, give us contentment that we might focus not on ourselves, but on you and others, and serve. May you be content in where the Lord has you this day. May God's grace be with you. Have a wonderful day.